Good morning, New Brunswick. I'm Charlie Cradaville here with the New Brunswick Today show, continuing our special series of candidate interviews with the folks who want to represent you here in New Brunswick. We have a number of choices coming up on the primary election ballot, and we're joined today by someone who wants to be your next U.S. Congressman, Mr. Javahn Walker. Javahn, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Javahn, you're a young guy. You're Rutgers alum. You lived here in New Brunswick for 7 years, and you decided you want to run for U.S. Congress. Tell people how you got to where you are and what made you want to, take on this campaign.
So I saw the results of the Hillary and Trump campaign in the presidential election, and I know that there are a lot of things that aren't working well in Washington. So I just woke up one day and I said, I'm tired of what's going on and it's time to fight back. And if from what Bernie Sanders was telling the American people about how people should take back their democracy and get away from corporations and ultra-wealthy special interests, trying to control our democracy, then it's best if somebody, an ordinary person, rises up to the occasion and decides to run for office himself.
Great. So you're running against a guy who's been there a long time. Tell voters who might be casting ballots in this Democratic primary, what do you think separates you from the incumbent? What will you do differently if you're elected?
So I would say that I'm an everyday American. A lot of people, they vote because they believe that the situations facing them every day are important issues that need to be solved. And for establishment-backed candidates or politically entrenched candidates, those are the ones where they win regardless of what the people think about them, because their name is such a trusted name within the community, such as in this district is 6th Congressional District, which covers parts of Middlesex and Monmouth County. There are a lot of people that will vote for my opponent just because of the name. They might not know about the issues, they might not know about what his stances are.
So tell our voters, what are the issues where you feel you have a better position on?
So I say that definitely the topic of healthcare, which is the most important topic of my campaign platform. I believe that healthcare is a right, not a privilege. On the other hand, my opponent believes that healthcare is a privilege and not a right based on his healthcare contributions and the fact that he's never co-sponsored HR 676, which is a Medicare for All bill.
So you support basically taking Medicare and offering that system to every American.
Yes.
Your opponent
wrote, he was one of the co-authors for the Affordable Care Act, which, by the way that the Affordable Care Act is, it's kind of, the law was kind of written by insurance companies where they, of course, they bring in more people, but that's just an excuse for them to hike up deductibles, hike up premiums, hike up the amount of drugs that they won't offer and partial payments for, and the amount of states, such as more of the states in the South and the Midwest, that refuse to open up Medicaid to a lot of people. So there's a lot of problems within the Affordable Care Act. However, I know that if we opened up Medicare to all Americans, that we wouldn't have the situations that we have today.
So tell folks about your background. What kind of experience do you have that you think will equip you to be qualified to serve?
Okay, so right now I'm an auditor at a bank in New York. So as an auditor, my job is to make sure that things are running right. Whenever we see things that are going wrong, then it is our job to fix those problems, suggest or recommend ways to fix the problem. So that's what I believe that I can do in Congress. I'm not a person that's been a politician for 30 to 40 years before running for office. I think when we have people like that run for office again and again and again, they only get reelected because of their name recognition. There are not a lot of results and a lot of things that voters can look back to and say, well, this person, they vouched for me at this certain time, or they fought for this specific thing. A lot of politicians really vote for the special interests and the wealthy donors that contribute to their campaign.
Well, I will give you credit, Mr. Walker. I know you've been coming out to a lot of local government meetings here in New Brunswick throughout the course of your campaign, housing authority meetings, city council meetings, and standing with the people of New Brunswick in fighting against some of the problems we have here. So tell us a little bit about New Brunswick, what it means to you, and what our viewers here in the hub city might expect to be different if you win.
Well, I would say the first thing they can expect is somebody that has their back. With the way that the government is running, a lot of the government officials, they work rather for the special interests, the developers or the local unions. those politicians are supported by the union, the organization itself, not necessarily the people. So I believe that when you work for the people, that is what people want best. They want a representative that's going to represent them. I've been to city council meetings and I've seen maybe tax exemptions going on and how the tax exemptions are going to help the unions and the organizations, but what about the people themselves? Is there affordable housing in developments that are going to have, thousands of dormitory rooms or thousands of apartments? Are they affordable housing, or are they going to look out for people that commute to New York every day and want to, pack up and just move out of the city one day? So these are very important situations for the residents of New Brunswick. If they vote for somebody, they want to make sure that somebody's representing them rather than somebody's representing organizations and the people that donate to you.
Right on. And so you haven't always lived in this area. You from the South. You went to high school down in Georgia. Now you came to New Brunswick, lived here for a while, and you actually live in Somerset, New Jersey. Now, that's technically just outside of the 6th Congressional District. You're, of course, under the Constitution, allowed to run for whichever district you want. Tell folks why they should, one, trust you to represent them, even if you don't necessarily live in the district, and also what made you select the 6th Congressional District to run? Why did you want to run in the 6th Congressional District here?
So I would like to let the people know that regardless of where I live right now, should I be elected into U.S. Congress as a representative of the 6th Congressional District, then I will move back into the district. The reason why was because once I graduated college, my mother, she wanted to move into a house, and I could not find anything within the 6th Congressional District. So I wanted to give back to my mom and be able to have co-own a house with my mother. So the unfortunate part was it's not in the 6th Congressional District, but like I said, if I'm running for office and I win that office, then I'm going to move back within the district. The reason why I selected this district is because when I moved from Georgia, once graduating high school, I was accepted into Rutgers University. So I wanted to make sure that I lived locally, and I've loved New Brunswick from the day I got here. And I never wanted to leave the city. It's just that, unfortunately, things happened, and I had to move outside of the district.
Right. So you were renting, and now you have become a homeowner. You purchased a home, and not far from New Brunswick, right? Less than a mile from our city, and you're actually quite a bit closer to New Brunswick than your opponent. Your opponent's political base, he's down in Long Branch, right? Okay. Well, what can you tell us about? You talk a lot about the kind of pay-to-play politics, or the people making political contributions to your opponent, and you seem to believe that influences his representation.
Absolutely.
Tell the viewers some of these examples that you think are influencing your opponent, because I know you look through all the records and you keep track of who's supporting him.
Right. So many examples would be such as the Affordable Care Act that he was a co-author on. At the start of 2013, when Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act, was being implemented in New Jersey, there were 8 insurers within the state that were participants in the Obamacare marketplace. You had Cigna, United Healthcare, Aetna, Anthem, Humana, so many different prominent healthcare insurers, and they offered affordable rates to the people that relied on Obamacare for health insurance. However, as of 2018, there are only 2 health insurers left. There's Blue Cross Blue Shield, and there's one other healthcare company, but those 6 that I named, those are healthcare insurers that left the market.
They stopped offering insurance.
They stopped offering insurance, whether they were looking for their bottom line or just didn't want to offer health insurance at all. I mean, that's why they were formed. That's why they were founded as health insurance companies. They're supposed to provide health insurance to the people. And my representative has said on screen that they're not forced to participate in offering health insurance to people. It's voluntary whether they want to do so or not. And when healthcare insurers, when they're looking out for their bottom line, they're just going to cut people off, which is what happened with New Jersey. So you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that rely on health insurance from private health insurance companies, and those health insurance companies just packed up in their right to state. And those are the same healthcare companies that are contributing to my opponent's campaign. Why would somebody co-author a bill from health insurance companies that are contributing to his campaign, and they can just pack up and just stop offering health insurance to these people? It's awful.
So who's funding your campaign? How much have you raised, and where did it come from?
So I would say I raised about $1,000. I would probably say about 70 to 80% was self-funded. The rest came from donations from other residents or people from outside of the district.
So no corporations or anything?
No,
like
definitely
that.
not. Definitely not.
Okay, and so just so folks know how it works, on Tuesday, folks who are registered Democrats and anyone who is unaffiliated voter is going to be able to come out and vote in the election. If you're unaffiliated, you can pick which primary you want to vote in, and so Democrats are going to have a choice between the incumbent, who is Frank Pallone, who's represented New Brunswick since 1991, and Mr. Walker here. Tell voters why you think they should put their trust in you, who you were not born yet when Frank Pallone got into office, right? He's been there since the early 90s. Why do you think it's time for a change? Why do you want to replace Congressman Pallone?
When it gets to the point that people vote for a politician based on the name and they don't know what the issues are, it's a very serious problem. We have to open up the democracy. For 25 years within this district, my opponent has been on the ticket for the Democratic Party for 25 years without an opponent. That's not a democracy. It's an autocracy. When people become so accustomed to just having one person representing them regardless of political affiliation, that's a serious problem. And I think that when we have more primaries, that will shake up the party itself, and that will also make sure that the incumbents or the person that wins the election, they're going to make sure that they're looking out for all people. Now, I'm running for office because I want to make sure that people are being represented. The way that the system is with pay-to-play and how so many corporations, special interests, when they donate to certain politicians, that is not democracy. The politicians, that's who they look out for. They don't look out for the people. And it's, with the way that politics is done, the lobbyists and the corporations win all the time. We only cast a ballot for these people, but these results were already known before basically the people even come out and announce their candidacy. When they have all these special interests or corporations donating to them, those results are already known, just not given out to the public.
Okay, so I know one of your big goals with the campaign was to get your opponent to have a debate.
Yes.
And I was honored to be there as the reporter of record. We at New Brunswick Today got it all on video, so you can watch that on NewBrunswickToday.com. Tell me, what was your reaction to the debate? That was your first time really,
Yes.
On stage with the congressman. Went on for a little over an hour. I thought you both did very well, in my honest assessment. Tell me, what was your reaction? What did you take away from that experience?
I honestly have to, first I would like to say thank you to Representative Pallone. I would like to thank him for, the representatives are not required to do debates, and a lot of representatives and senators, they don't do debates with first-time candidates because of the fact that it might seem like a lot of spotlight is given to the first-time candidate. And he's ever present within this district, and he wants to make sure that there is a democracy in this district. So I would like to hats off to Representative Pallone for giving me the opportunity. As for my performance and what was going on during the debate, I think that there were a lot of good questions being asked. And I think while we did have a lot of different views on certain subjects, such as healthcare, I think that as fellow Democrats, that we had a lot of similar proposals to the same issues. I think it was great for the people of Perth Amboy as well as Democrats from other outside cities that came there. I think it was a great opportunity for them to hear two candidates for the first 25 years within this district. So I think that it was a great idea for the debate to happen, and also people like yourself, as well as League of Women Voters that were able to moderate and facilitate the debate. Just a great collaboration between my campaign and Representative Pallone's campaign and outside influences that were able to make it happen.
Yeah, I thought it was a great debate, and certainly encourage anybody, before you cast your ballot, go ahead and watch that video and watch the candidates talk about all sorts of issues. I agree, a lot of great questions. I was pleased my question was asked first. I got to ask about if you're elected, will you, this to me is the most important issue in the country, will you vote to impeach the President of the United States? So tell our audience your answer to that question.
My answer would be yes, without a question. Now, during the debate, when we were both asked your question, I said I would do it. If it came up on the first day, I would definitely impeach President Donald Trump. But Representative Pallone also said that he would do the same. But he can say that he has cast his vote for impeachment of Donald Trump. But what he did not say was that that was the second time that it was tried. So the first time that Representative Al Green of Texas, when he issued the articles of impeachment, Representative Pelosi, she said, don't cast yes on the vote. And whatever Nancy Pelosi says is the leader of the representatives of the Democratic Party in Congress, if she says no, then everybody else is just going to fall in line. So that's what Representative Pallone did. The first time that the article...
Well, he didn't vote no, right? He never voted against impeachment, but I've been pushing for him to co-sponsor Congressman Green's bill, and he still hasn't done that. So you promised me today that if you're in the U.S. Congress, you'll sponsor articles of impeachment.
Absolutely.
to impeach the president and send it to Senate for a trial.
President Donald Trump has a history of why he should be impeached, whether it's influence from elections or firing James Comey or giving trouble to Robert Mueller. Now all it is just enticing more pressure on whoever the special investigator is in this Russian investigation. And he's done enough to be impeached. I don't know why the representatives in Congress have not done so yet, but it's deserved at this point.
Well, that's certainly something we agree on, and I'm glad to hear that you support the impeachment of the president. I think that's the most important issue. But there's a lot of issues out there. There are a lot of great questions. So do want to point out we invited Representative Pallone, the other individual who'll be on your Democrat primary ballots for U.S. Congress. He was unable to do an interview with us. We always invite all the candidates that have opponents in the elections. But we have interviewed him in the past, and you can check out those videos. And we certainly want to encourage you to, again, check out that video of the debate last Tuesday in Perth Amboy, where you can hear about both the candidates. Before we go, just want to give you one chance to speak to our audience directly about, your connection to New Brunswick, what you love about New Brunswick, and what you'd like to see here.
I would like a local, city, and state and federal government to work for the people of New Brunswick. If people believe that the government is not working for them, then A, you need to make a change by voting new candidates, or if you don't believe in the candidates yourself, just run for office. Honestly, the reason I ran for office is because I really don't have much faith in the government officials that are elected within city, state, or federal government. So I know what I am able to bring to the table. So if they want change within their government, hopefully they find enough trust within the government officials that they elect, and if not, then just run for office themselves.
Thank you very much, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Javahn Walker, a former New Brunswick resident, running to be our next congressman. He will be on the ballots on Tuesday in the Democratic Party primary. So no matter who you're voting for, make sure you get out and vote in that primary election. You can check out our full series of interviews with the candidates who are appearing on ballots in both parties, and also check out that video of Mr. Walker debating the longtime incumbent representative here, Frank Pallone. Again, no matter who you're voting for, make sure you vote New Brunswick. We need to have our voices be heard. Your vote is your voice. If you don't use it, you lose it. So please get out there, and whoever you're supporting, make sure you cast a ballot on Tuesday. Thank you so much to Mr. Walker and all the other candidates who joined us, and also to Hidden Grounds Espresso Bar here. Come check it out. Great, best coffee in New Brunswick, and we're so grateful to them for hosting this series. And thanks to you, New Brunswick, for watching. Thank you, sir. Have a good one. Great job.
Thank you so much, Charlie.